one and all, and today we are going to discuss about the structure of a buccal cavity. So previously we started our topic, which is digestion in humans. So first we are going to discuss what is the first part from where the ingestion takes place. First step of digestion is ingestion, which is um involving the intake of complex food molecules. So as it involves the intake of complex food molecules, that is basically having the intake of complex food molecules through mouth. Now, what is mouth composed of? Mouth is basically composed of the lips as well as the space between teeth and lips. As you can see, there are teeth and space between teeth and lips, which is known as a vestibule. The space between teeth and lips, which is before the teeth, is a vestibule, and that vestibule is having labial frenulum. That's vestibule is having labial frenulum. That is this structure. Let me just showcase a bit. As you can see, this structure, which is quite, which is kind of a muscle, kind of an attachment between the lips and the gums, is known as the labial frenulum. If it is present on the upper part, it is superior labial frenulum. If it is present on the downward part, it is inferior labial frenulum. So this labial frenulum attaches the lips with gums. That is why this is known as a labial frenulum. Whereas another structure is also present in the frenulum, which is known as a lingual frenulum. Lingual frenulum is present in the tongue, which is supposed to connect the tongue with the floor of the vocal cavity. But we are going to discuss that later. That's only the intro, and here we are having buccal cavity now. Buccal cavity is having the following structure. Buccal cavity is the cavity which is present between our cheeks, uh, which involves such a structure which is shown on your screen, that is present between our lips after our mouth, and on its upper side, on its roof, there is palate. On its roof there is palate. Its walls its walls are having cheeks. We can consider it as a room-like structure in which the roof is palate, walls are cheeks, and floor is tongue. Although the floor of buccal cavity is usually considered as the lower part which is present below the tongue, but we are going to consider tongue here because the food doesn't go behind below the tongue. So we usually consider tongue here, and there's a part which is present below the tongue as well, but we don't consider that. So floor of buccal cavity, tongue. So what is it actually composed of? First, let us discuss about uh, some specific part. First, we are going to discuss about palate. So palate is divided into two parts. The front part or anterior part is known as the hard palate. That hard palate is hard because of presence of bony structures, bones. What kind of bones are present there? There are two bones, maxillary bone and palatine bones. And due to presence of maxillary bone and palatine bones, these are also having structure known as palatine rugs. These are having structure of palatine rugs. These palatine rugs are rough structures, rough protrusions, rough protrusions, as well as rough outgrowths or bumps, which in actual cause a roughness in the hard palate. Why is it present? It is present in order to cause friction, in order to help the buccal cavity to grip the food more tightly, to grip the food without any sort of lubrication. That is most advanced in carnivores, because in carnivores intake their food alive without cooking or doing any sort of of just cooking them or just simply uh, eating them in dead form. They actually do eat those their prey in alive form without cooking or such methods which are utilized by humans. So they are having palatine drugs inside their structure, which is prominent, which allows them to grip the food when it's alive and swallow them ultimately within their mouth. So this is why it is prominent, after which The structure of upper lip, lower lip, frenulum, as I previously discussed, and gums of the buccal cavities are also known as gingivae. I am not sure about the pronunciation. It's gingivae, something like that. And after in the hard palate, we are having bony structures, and that is having palatoglossal arch. After which there is soft palate, which is present behind the hard palate. Behind the hard palate, there is soft palate, and inside the soft palate, in the middle of the soft palate, there is uvula. In the middle of soft palate, there is uvula. Uvula is a structure, as you can see over the screen as well. Uvula is a structure, is a fleshy structure. It is a fleshy structure which is made up of muscles. And what is its function? It is basically having its basic function to it's having its basic function to block the respiratory tract whenever food is being intaken. Whenever the food is being intaken, it blocks the respiratory tract by not allowing it to go inside the respiratory tract, and allowing the food to move in the forward direction in the food pipe rather than going in the windpipe. So it prevents the food to go in the backward direction of uvula, which opens into the respiratory tract. After which uvula is basically have is made up of a fleshy structure, made up of muscles, and behind uvula we are having structure of a palatoglossal arch. What is palatoglossal arch? First, let us discuss what is soft palate composed of. So, soft palate is generally composed of what? Soft palate is generally composed of soft palate. Soft palate is composed of palato. Soft palate is composed of sorry for the disturbance. Here, a soft palate is composed of connective tissues. It's composed of connective tissues, and moreover, it is having mucous membrane over its surface. It is having mucous membrane secretion. So this mucous membrane causes to provide lubrication to the food, as well as also provides allows to provide lubrication to the food, as well as allows to catch any sort of dust particles, with usually not dust particle, but some particles or anything which can be harmful can be stuck inside the mucous membrane. So this mucous membrane is also present in the hard palate, but it is mostly prominent in soft palate. And another structure which is prominent in soft palate is known as taste buds. Even though taste buds are predominantly found in the tongue, but some of the taste buds minorly are also found in the soft palate. But these are mostly considered to be found in tongue. After which, we are having another example. Um, After behind the uvula, we are having palatoglossal arch. What is palatoglossal arch? Palatoglossal arch is the arch which is basically having connective tissues, not having connective tissue, but that is basically palatoglossal arch behind the fosse, behind the arch of pharynx, and forms an arch known as palatoglossal arch, which is basically made up of mucous membrane, and that helps in swallowing as well as in yawning. Whenever we swallow and yawn, that arch allows us allows the respiratory tract to be blocked. So whenever we swallow or yawn, this allows the movement of soft palate, and in such a manner that basically whenever we swallow or yawn, it supports the downward part, and that is the major function as it is written in our book. After which we are having the palatopharyngeal arch. Palatopharyngeal arch is an arch which is Pharyngophalangeal arch, which is also known as palatopharyngeal arch. Both are the same things. These are made up of palato uh, pharyngeus muscles. These are made up of palatopharyngeus muscles, and palatoglossal arch is made up of palatoglossus muscles, and that is basically having the posterior pillar of fosses. That is supporting the posterior pillar of fosses. What are fosses? Fosses is the arched opening. As you can see over here, this is the arched opening. That might be visible here. This is the arched opening present over here. This arched opening is supposed to have made the cavity, buccal cavity, through which the food is intaken, and it supports the posterior pillar of fosses, whereas the palatoglossal arch, which is present in front of it, forms the posterior pillar. So here there's a mistake, that palatopharyngeal arch makes the posterior, and palatoglossal forms the anterior part. And palatoglossal arch basically helps in swallowing and yawning. Whenever we swallow and yawn, it supports the downward part, so that the downward part may not get uh, disintegrated. After which we are having another part here. I guess all's done, because that's all according to our book. And moreover, these are also supported with with blood supply and nerves. What kind of nerves are present here? Here we have cranial nerve, here we have maxillary nerve, as well as we are having uh, glossopalatine nerve, glossopalatine nerve, and apart from this, these two nerves are basically the facial nerves in actual, and glossopalatal nerve is a nerve which is present on the posterior side. Maxillary nerve is present on the anterior side. On the other hand side, we are having example of uh, glossopharyngeal nerve. Glossopharyngeal nerve is found on the posterior side, and that is controlled by the cranial nerve. That is controlled by cranial nerve. And what kind of cranial nerve? Cranial nerve 9. After which there is another nerve, which is a maxillary nerve, and that maxillary nerve is having cranial nerve 6, either cranial nerve 6 or 7, but you can better confirm it. So this is how we are supposed to count them. After which there is another nerve which is known as the pharyngeal plexus, and that is formed from the vagus nerve 9, or sorry, it's vagus nerve 10. After which we are having another part which is known as the tonsillar fossa. So the space between the tongue and palatopharyngeal arch is known as the sinus. Is known as it's sinus or tonsillar fossa. Tonsillar fossa. Sinus or tonsillar fossa. So that's all about the video for uh, our lecture on buccal cavity. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about